Are you sick of the same old Minecraft field, boring wheat fields that look like this, or even this? Well, in today's video, I have 15 ideas that'll show you creative ways to make new farms in Minecraft. Let's begin. Alright, so up first we have tomato plants. Now, these are just rose bushes put inside of armor stands, but it looks like they're growing up through the armor stands. And it just looks like a tomato bush. You can plant these in rows or in clumps, but it's just something different to look at. This is super easy to do. All you're going to need is dirt, rose bushes, and armor stands. You'll place your dirt down, an armor stand just like that, and you'll just place the rose bush on the block on the outside of the armor stand, and it'll grow through the armor stand just like that. Super easy one to do. Next up, we have corn. This one is a little bit more complicated to do just because of the way candle placements work, but it is also super easy to do. We'll grab dirt. Now what we have to do is go up a block like this, place our candles like this, place our bamboo underneath, break these blocks, and then let our bamboo grow up exactly like this. Sometimes it doesn't quite line up like this one does, but from a distance you can tell it's corn. So this is a really good one if you want to spice it up, just make something a little bit different. Can work really well if you're kind of building more modern things, like a modern farm ranch type of thing. This could be really cool, kind of paired up with the tomatoes over there. These are two really easy ones to do that just kind of brings a little bit more life into what you're doing. Next up we have a rice paddy. I saw this from a friend of mine on the server, but all you need for this one is water on the ground, a little bit of a block underneath that you can place drip leaf on, and just like that you got a little bit of a rice paddy. Next up we have different types of bushes or trees or whatever. We're gonna actually fill this back in. I want to give it a little bit of space here. These are all a little bit different in their own way, but they all have very similar ideas. First one we'll just put down an azalea bush, put moss on top of it, and it's a really good hedge type of bush. The next one, put down a dead bush, pull out our block like this. If you try to place it on top of this, it just breaks it, so you gotta be very careful with the dead bushes. Place your flowering azalea on top. And then the last one, we use a pot and azalea bush. Oh, didn't want to do that. Place on top of the pot, and you have another beautiful bush. So these are a few bush designs you can use. Very easy to make that look very good in a more manicured garden, especially these look really good as like hedge walls. Yeah, those are really nice. Next up we have berry fields. I like to think of these as strawberries, or you can call them sweet berries like the game does. This one, another very easy one. Place sweet berries, leaves in between them, around them. Super easy one to do. Next up we have a watermelon patch. Now this is a little bit more complicated and it looks not as good from above, but if you're looking at it like this, it gets a little bit harder to tell that there isn't a block here in these places right here, and it's a lot easier to see these leaves as just being leaves on the ground. So the small drip leaf actually looks a lot like watermelon leaves. I don't know exactly what the plant is called. If it's just called watermelon plants, I don't really know. But it looks a lot like watermelon plants. Obviously you can grow them out just like this so they can still be functional. And you can dot a few around with green candles on top. Nothing complicated about this one. You can just place it on top. Next up we have hanging farms. these are going to be your glowberries, your nether hanging vines, and your roots, but these are also super easy to make. All you need is fences, a slab on top of either side. I can't place things. I think I was just too close. Trapdoor in between them, and then you can place any of these hanging blocks here, and it looks really, really nice. Even glowberries look good. Super simple idea. Just something a little bit different to bring into your world. Next up we have upgraded sugarcane. Now most people just do straight lines of sugarcane. I like to put mine on a bit of an angle. Just makes the field look a bit more attractive. But also, as you can see, we have shoots of bamboo in here as well. So if we make this on a bit of a small scale, you can see exactly what we do here. We'll build up our sugarcane. Since this is going to be decorative, I'll place string on top of these at certain heights, just because. Place one on top of there, and it looks like just a single shoot of the same sugarcane. This is just really nice. It just gives a little bit of extra color differentiation and just something a little bit extra to look at. Next up we have our cattails. These are super fun on the edges of rivers if you want to put them there. And of course you can make these all sorts of different designs. I'll break these blocks right here so you don't see this weird connection, but put a brown stained glass in the water all the way up until you get to the surface. Then place green on top of it, 1 or 2 blocks, and then on top you can either put brown candles or green candles or sea pickles if you'd like, or if you want to get really fancy, you can place a flower pot on top, place any kind of flower you want. I chose a fern. I think it just looks the best for with this. Flower pot just looks a little bit too big, but I think it's alright. Alright, the next one up is our pitcher pod field. Now, pitcher pods are super, super interesting. If you haven't paid attention to new Minecraft update, these pitcher pods are really, really awesome. So, if you get some bone meal, just to speed this process up, if a pitcher pot grows up all the way, it looks like this. But if you place a string on top of it, and then you let it grow, it actually stops it at this stage right here. So you can make your farms look super interesting and always look like they're in the process of growing forever. You don't have to make them, you don't have to keep replanting just to make it look like this. Just placing a string on top, which is pretty much invisible. I mean, you can't see that at all. Place a string on top and your field looks like it is always growing. It's always got some kind of life in it. It doesn't look so stock all the time. These last couple ones are a little bit more just field of something you wouldn't think of. This is just mushroom on Podzol. You know, maybe mushroom field. Mushrooms are cool. There's really not much to say about this one. And our next one is pretty much the exact same idea, but instead, you know, if you're working with some kind of high fantasy magical area, maybe they farm amethyst buds. Maybe amethyst grows in a way that is just a little bit different than it does in our world. And maybe it can just be something on the ground. I don't know. You guys are creative. You can figure something out. I believe in you. Last one up on this kind of weird list here is just some sort of flower field. A little bit of green-ish, bluish, cyan candles and wort roots look pretty good as just a little kind of field. Just something growing up, a little bit of a magical color. Not a color you usually see in nature, the cyan. I think it looks kind of interesting. Someone could definitely run with this idea a little bit more than I did. Alright, our second to last one is a dead field. So, of course you have all these fields that all look so beautiful, but maybe your field is old and decrepit by a old torn down castle, and you need to have a field that looks overgrown. So this one is also super easy to do. It just takes a few things. Grab the dirt, coarse dirt. So all this one does is it takes mangrove roots, mangrove leaves, and some tall grass. This is all you really need for it. The mangrove roots just look like dead versions of the leaves, and the tall grass is just showing kind of weeds building up through the old decrepit field, kind of nature retaking the area that was so cultivated. And our last one is one that I personally never use, but I think I should more often. It's these coral farms, these coral fields. Super, super interesting. But all you need for this is a little bit of water, some trapdoors, and some slabs, and you can make coral that never dies. So all you do is place your trapdoors in the shape of kind of a crate. Place water buckets inside of these trapdoors. Place upside down slabs. Now you can see that these slabs are now waterlogged, so you can place coral on top of this. Usually I choose some sort of block with some green or blue in it. Copper could work, dark prismarine maybe, or just regular prismarine. But it looks super good. Really, really bright, a lot brighter than any of the flowers in the game. Looks really good in planters. So this is really awesome if you have some sort of garden in, you know, a greenhouse or something like that. But that is 15 farm designs. I hope you guys enjoyed these. I hope you found something that you could use or learn from, maybe some idea that you think would be really awesome in your own world. I would love to hear any ideas that you guys have in the comments below. But that is all from me, so until next time, this is Six. See you later.